Welcome back to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from higher ground. This afternoon, I'm joined by Stan Hudson from Modern Jewelers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Karen. Nice to be here. I appreciate your having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you. I know that you've had a recent appraisal event that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, there may be some viewers, believe it or not, who are not familiar with Modern Jewelers. Would you just give us a little background about Modern Jewelers and some of its history?
Okay. Modern Jewelers is located at 807 Bay Street. It's been owned by the same family for 70 years.
Oh, wow.
It is a full-service jewelry store that does everything from appraisals to engraving to repairs to sales in one location. It's one of the few stores left in this area, certainly, and probably on the East Coast, that does everything within the store.
It's pretty unique, without a doubt.
It is unique. Third generation, same family.
It's pretty neat too to have that level of history, and obviously we know what a wonderful community Buford is, so it's great to have that family feel, be able to go downtown right on Bay Street and get that type of service, knowing that you guys have 7 years of experience behind you.
We probably know almost every family, I think, in downtown Buford.
I think you probably
at this
do.
Point.
You absolutely do. One of the reasons you're here on the show is to talk about a recent appraisal event that you all have had, and I know that it's been really successful.
We were very pleased to be able to do a show called What's It Really Worth, which is a show that does verbal evaluations of anything the person wants to bring in. We did it to benefit Alzheimer's of Northern Beaufort County, and it was very successful. We plan to do another one in 6 months.
Excellent.
And it was something that we saw 60 some odd pieces of items, different kinds of items, a lot of jewelry, which is my field. And some things that dated back to the 1800s, early 1800s, up to more modern pieces that were recently purchased that people just wanted to know what they really had, what's it really worth. So
during these What's It Really Worth events, is it just jewelry people are bringing in? Are they bringing in any sort of small antiques or other? People
are allowed to bring in anything they want. Tabletop, which is statuary, glass, cut glass, crystal, silver, jewelry, of course. We have political memorabilia that we see, clocks, you name it, prints, paintings, anything that somebody wants to bring in, we will try to give a verbal evaluation on the spot.
Got it. Sort of like Buford's own version of Antiques Roadshow, in a way.
Exactly.
We know those words are that's trademark show, but we just sort of like a similar version. As soon as I started reading your questions and about your event, that's exactly what came to mind. So what is an appraisal? Some people out there may not be aware of what an appraisal actually is.
An appraisal is something that is a verbal, written, it's a written photograph. It's really what it amounts to. We take a piece of jewelry and we will describe that to such length and extent that it could be duplicated the next day without a picture.
Wonderful. Wow.
And it gives values. Normally we're asked to give 3 different kinds of values. One would be the replacement value. Should it be lost today, what's it cost to replace it tomorrow? Fair market value, which is equivalent to the reserve in an auction. And forced sale value, which is what we would get if you had to liquidate something within 5 working days.
Goodness, got it. And how do appraisals rather get performed? I mean, you talked about you're the jewelry expert. I'm assuming that you have other people with areas of different expertise that are on site.
Correct. Normally, we do jewelry appraisals are done in the store or at a person's home, either one. As far as clocks and paintings and larger items, we normally go to the house.
Okay.
And we have different people that we call, different experts for each of those fields that will take care of that need. No one of us knows everything.
Absolutely not, right? No, you certainly, at this point, you don't want a chief cook and bottle washer.
Exactly.
You really want someone who is an expert in what they do, right? And whether it's French paintings or sous chef or however we want to make that analogy. So obviously, sitting here today, we've just are off the heels of a major natural disaster here in Buford. I'm assuming there are people that have lots of things in their houses that they don't have appraisals on.
This is part of what we call asset evaluation, and that means that normally people will take stock of their stocks and bonds, their financial instruments, but people sometimes neglect the things that are right around them in their homes, and they don't realize what values they have and what insurable values they may have.
Those are things without that piece of paper, like you said, that written photograph, they really can't find the funds or through the insured to replace those items. They become irreplaceable at that point.
Once an appraisal is done, it is then updated every 18 to 24 months to keep the values current because of escalation or de-escalation.
Or depreciation, yes.
But we try to keep everybody current and up to date with their insurance coverage if they choose to cover insurance. But at least if not, they have an inventory of what their personal assets are.
Very important thing to do if you live here or
Exactly.
any place that's prone to
Very
hurricanes, tornadoes, you know, any natural disaster that could really disrupt their life, their home,
Exactly.
and their valuables. What do you guys charge for an appraisal?
Appraisals should always be based on either a per item charge or an hourly basis, never on a percentage basis.
Never on a percentage of what the item is actually appraised for.
You end
Okay.
up with inflated values.
Got it.
We personally charge for jewelry, we charge on a per item basis. For paintings, prints, where there's research involved, that's done on an hourly basis. Depends on the appraiser who's doing it, what they charge.
Got it.
The store charges one fee, does not mean that's the same thing that the appraiser in your home is going to charge.
So always ask that question up front, how
Always
much is this
ask.
going to cost me?
Right, and we will always tell you an estimated value that's within 5%. I mean, it's very close.
Good to know. So your next event you talked about hopefully happening again in 6 months. Do you think that you will use some of the proceeds for that to help another cause, needy cause here in Beaufort?
I think we will probably do Alzheimer's again. We've sort of tied ourselves with them and they seem very pleased with our services. And we had a great time. We just met lots of neat people.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it brings a lot of people out. You know?
And saw some strange items.
I know things that probably haven't seen daylight in a long time. But I thought I should probably get that out of the trunk and have that taken a look at. But I think this is a great idea. Like you said, it gets people educated about and informed about the items that they have in their house. Want people to know it's just more than jewelry. That you may have some paintings or antiquities that are in your home that have been passed down. You want to make sure you have and know what the value is for them. But more than anything, it brings our community together and for a good cause.
Exactly, and we thank you for airtime.
Absolutely, we're happy to
Appreciate
have you. I learned a lot this afternoon. My husband is a collector and always has things around, and we're big Antiques Roadshow watchers, so we're always interested to see what people have.
There's always neat things.
There's always neat things.
Somebody's basement or somebody's closet has a treasure.
They're absolutely right. What do they say? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Hudson. We appreciate you being a guest this afternoon on North of the Broad.
Thank you, Karen.
And we'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you.